So hello geek, in this video we are going to show you like how you can post your HTML form data in your Node.js or even in your ExpressJS server. So before we proceed to the video, let's see how it will look at the end of this video. So yeah, you can see that our application is live at localhost 3000. Okay, this is the registration form that is purely designed and developed using HTML and CSS. So what it will do is when you fill out the form details and you click on this register button, then you will be redirected to our other page, which will display the form data, and we are also capturing it in our console, right? So let's see how it goes. Let me fill the details first. Okay, fine. So I'm going to register this. Okay. So now registration successful with all the details of the user that we just filled in the registration form, right? So these are the same details that we filled. So this details are useful as we are also capturing them under our console, and this can be also used to store them in the database itself, right? So this data is critical, right? So we all need that. So this is how even like things work over there. I will just show you the glimpse of terminal as well. So you see this data is coming in our console as well, and we can see it in the UI side as well. Of course, this can be beautified using EGS or any of the front end technologies that you work on. You can use React, you can use EGS. Pug can be also one of the options. Okay, so this is the one thing we will not see this. This is not our business. We are pure backend guys, so we will focus on the backend stuff. Okay, so yeah, this is one thing. Now this video has some prerequisites, which is like there are few expectations from from our side that we believe that you must be having this. First of all, like you should be knowing some of the basic HTML CSS uh, tech just to design this registration form. Okay, although we will be providing you the complete source code, be it front end or back end, like what you see is what you get, right? But however, we suggest you that you should have at least this much of knowledge for HTML and CSS, right? And of course the basic understanding of Node and Express, and of course some of the like basic understanding of get and post request to backend server, like how you uh, make your calls to the server, like it may be get, post, put, patch, something, or update, delete. Okay, so this is one thing. Okay, so in a just I can explain you the difference is like get is basically when you want to fetch something from the server. Post is like if you want to post something to the server, like for example all your select queries can be considered as the get request. Okay, you are fetching something from the database. In our case it's going to be server, whereas insert queries are for post, like you are posting something to the database. So this registration form is a kind of a post request to a server where you are collecting form data from the client and you are sending it to server, which later you are storing it of course in the database, or you can display it in the UI itself. Like whatever you want to do, you can do. So this is one thing. Okay, so these are the prerequisite for this video. So if you already are aware of these 3 points, then we are good to go ahead. Okay, so let's start with the basic things. Okay, so first of all I am going to show you folder structure. So first of all what we have decided is like this is how a folder structure looks like. So we are mainly dividing everything into different modules. Okay, container forms, inside containers we have form.js. It will be responsible for like storing all our business logic, like what we want, what is our main agenda for this. Okay, and then we have node modules, you are already aware of it. Okay, and then we have public folder, which is for some of the you can say that static files, right? We have avatar png. Of course I would like to like mention about Flaticine for this awesome pick. Thanks for that. So yeah, form.html has our complete source code for HTML registration form, and then of course the CSS file. Okay, and then routes, we are also going to define the routes as well for the application, which is for we have used routing.js. Okay, and app.js is of course the, you can say that entry point for our application. So it will be containing all those crucial operations and middlewares that are required to run this project. Okay, and then of course we have something known as package json and package log.json. Okay, so basically first of all I would tell you like what is this package.json. So it's just like you can say that it's a backbone of a node.js ecosystem, right? Whole node.js application, right? So it's a fundamental part of understanding and working with node.js and modules and even some of the modern javascript objects as well, right? So it basically contains all the you can say that information, meta information about a particular project. Like for example, it has name, version, like license descriptions and dependencies. Like this is what it is, right? Of course, then there is something known as package log.json. What it is, like this is something new, right? So yeah, this is basically this file is created for locking the dependency with the installed version of the modules, right? For example, if you like, it will only install the exact and the latest version of that package in your application and save it in package.json, this file. Okay, so this is the thing. So without this package log.json, there might be some differences in the installed versions, like the modules that you are going to install. You see that each and everything has its own version. So without this file, there can be some variations in this field. Okay, when you install it in other environments or other systems, right? So to overcome this problem, we use this package log.json. Okay, so it would be volatile, you can say that it would be similar in all the environments, right? So this is the one thing. Okay, so yeah, let's now see the architecture, like what will be our approach, right, for this. Okay, yes, so architecture. So this is what it is. So whenever a user opens this local host 3000 like this one, okay, so we want to show them this registration form. So eventually, whenever a client makes a GET request to this slash, which is indeed the home page, our local server in this case, okay. So this is what it is. So we are basically, you can say that, rendering this form.html. We are preloading this form.html in our local host. Okay, so this is what it is. So this form.html, if I can show you, of course I am not like I haven't reset the code for html and css file. This is because this tutorial is basically for the backend thing, right? Not for the front end. So the code is already there for front end UI side of things, right? We have html and we have css code. So this is what form.html looks like, and then we have this style.css for containing all the styles, okay, details. Okay, it is because of this html and css we have designed, you can say that, this great UI. Okay, so thanks to that. So this is one thing. Okay, so whenever a user makes a get request to this, our form.html will be open in this localhost 3000. Okay, and then a user fills that form, and when user clicks on this register button, we have the other module which basically collects this form data. So whenever a post request is made to this localhost, then our module runs to collect the form data and sends back to the client as a response. Of course it captures it in our console as well, like we just saw here. Okay, this is the case. So this was our architecture. So let's start, you can say that, with the development now. So of course, like I told you guys, that app.js is going to be our entry point. Okay, so we are going to start with app.js. We are going to write the code for app.js. Okay, okay, so we are using express framework basically, okay, for this task. So there is a complete source code available in this page. You can download it. You can follow up the steps which are mentioned there to start your application. You need to install all those modules and all, right? For example, Express is one of them. Then there going to be a body parser as well. So you need to install them as well. Okay. So now the next would be body parser. Body parser require body dash parser. So it is also one of the module that is present in npm directory, right? So basically it is responsible for parsing the incoming request body, right, in a middleware. So this is what it is, right? So basically middleware is, we use this body parser middleware, this one, for exposing data on request.body. The data in this case would be our, of course, form data, right, that contains user information. So we are going to expose this in our request.body, and which later we can fetch it from there itself. Okay, so this is constant body parser. Of course, we are using routing.js to define all our routes, so we will also import that as well. So first of all, let me define that. Okay, where we have this inside routes. Okay, we have this routes, and then of course routing.js. Okay, that's fine. Now we need to do one thing, which is we have to make the instance of our express application. That's cool now. Okay, and within that, what we have to do is, like, we have to define all the middlewares. So of course body parser is one of our middleware that we are going to use, the body parser. So we have to use this property, which is url encoded. So basically returns middleware that only parses URL encoded bodies and only looks at requests where the content type header matches the type option. So here in this case it's going to be a post request, which will be exposed in our request.body, right? So yeah, we have to make it as extended true. One key thing is, like, once you code it down, just try it with extended false. Try to see if it works or not, right? This will be a good practice for you as well. Okay, so this was our first middleware. Then of course we want to use these static files, right? Static files like style.css, uh, form.html, and all these things, right? So we are going to define that as well, which is express.static. Okay, and then the file location, which is indeed our public folder. So it will, all files will be processed. Okay, so this is one thing. Now the last middleware that we have to use is of course for the routes. Okay, routes. Okay, now that's correct. So that's all I. So we can proceed with this code where we want our application to run in port number 3000. You can use any port. Okay, and of course we want to log this as well, that this is running. So we will just simply write console.log up and running, right? Okay. So okay, now before actually running this code, because it, if we run this now, it will give an error. So to avoid this, let's first write the business logic, and then we will define routes. Okay. So let's work on this form.js. So as I told you earlier in the beginning of this video, that form.js will have two modules. One will be for, like, if you see this. Okay, let me explain the code to you first. Okay, so the first process is of course requiring the express. We are importing it. We are including it in our this form.js file. Then we are going to write our first module, which is form. Okay, so what it do? So basically, it is responsible for loading that HTML file, okay, to our local host. Okay. This can be achieved by sending response as a file. Okay, so now here we will simply define the directory. In this case, it's form.html. So it should be object. Yeah. So also we have to define the root directory here as well. Okay, looks fine now. Okay, so I think this module is up and running. So this looks fine. So this is for handling the get request. Okay, so this for get request. Okay, now let's try the other module, which is basically responsible to take the data from the form. Okay, so form, I will name it as form process. Okay, request comma response, looks fine here. Okay, first of all, I will just simply do some of the console log where I will just simply print the complete form data which our application or the backend has received. Okay, and then we will use simply as a response, we will simply write out the details. Okay, this dot write. We will be using some HTML tag to define this or to display this. Okay, for example, registration successful. Okay, now we are simply going to append this with our request.body. Now, if you check this, we have defined the names as well for each and every input element, right? In our form.html. If you see this is our name text box, okay, input box, and then we have defined name as this name. We will use same here in our business logic code, which is name. Okay, that's it. Again, okay, so since it will take a bit long, so I will just simply do a bit of copy paste from the code that is written over here. Yeah, this is the case, right? We'll just simply copy it and paste it to this file. Okay, so this is nothing but how we are accessing the data for the respective fields. If you say this request.body username, then we have mail and mobile. Okay, and if you check it in the form.html itself, you will find we have defined this under name attributes, right? Username, mail, mobile, etc. Okay, so I think we are done with the business logic as well. One thing that you might be wondering that why we have used this like res.write and then res.end. Okay, why not res.send? Like some people use like this res.send and whatever they want to send. Okay, so also this is also one way, but I will say is like res.send is equal to the res.write plus res.end. Okay, so the key difference is like res.send can only be called once, whereas we can call this res.write multiple times. So this is a plus point of using this res.write. Okay, so one heads up to this is that like you when you use this res.write, you have to use this res.write, and basically because if you don't use it, browser will wait for infinite time, right? Just to browser will eventually wait for the response to come. Okay, so it is advised to use res.end here. Okay, one thing. Now let's proceed with the other one, which is the last thing that we have to do now, which is defining the routes. And defining routes would be an easy task because eventually you should be doing it from the starting of node itself. So let's quickly do this. Require express simply, and of course now we need to define routers. Router express dot router. Good. Okay. Now we have to import our controllers containers as well. Okay. Container, and then require give the full path containers. Okay. Now both the modules inside this form.js are now imported and included. We just need to use them. Defining our get router, the first one for router dot sorry, we have to use this container dot form. This is the first thing. Let me quickly show you this one. Like we are importing it here. Okay, and then the other one is for the post router dot post at same endpoint, defining the method form process. This was the other one that we have used in form.js. Okay, now without wasting any time, let's save this. Okay, open the terminal and try to run this node and.js. Okay, so there is one issue. Okay, one thing I just forgotten, which is like we need to export this router as well, right? So that is the basic thing. Now I will run this. Okay, up and running. Okay, so now let's try to check what we are seeing over there. Okay, so our page is loaded, everything looks fine. I'll just simply write all the information. Week, okay, and the mobile number. Now I'm going to click on that register button. Now, okay, so you see everything worked very well. So first of all, when we try to load that form, our get request handler was able to fetch the HTML file, which in our case was form.html. And once we submitted the form, post request was being sent to the server with the form data request body, right? And we were able to see all the data in the response now. This is accurate what we just entered in the form. Okay, so now the only thing left is like we have to cross verify this, and we got the data in the console as well. So that's all in this video. You can download the complete video. You can download the complete video from the sites, and of course the zip of the code is also present here in the web page. I will just drop out the link in the description box. You can just download it and check it for your reference. Also, along with the architecture and the process flow, like I have already defined this. You can check this for more better understanding. I hope this clarifies your doubt and you enjoyed this video. Thanks for that.